In our opinion, there are a number of benefits to having behavioral technician training in school districts. It allows for frequent and meaningful consultation to school teams by BCBAs. It builds capacity within individual school teams to implement positive behavior support strategies, promotes data collection on our IEP. It's not just a document that is created collaboratively, but it then is not looked at daily. We actually do use this daily, and we use it to inform decision making. We also it can provide school districts with a measurable and cost-effective way to provide ABA-trained paraprofessionals. Many districts and many parents are wanting ABA-trained paraprofessionals, and this could be one way to do that. It also, for our education assistants, provides them with a standard of practice that then also legitimizes the work that they do and can offer them a path to private practice in ABA as well. As we know, many education assistants or paraprofessionals are looking for work outside of the school system as well to supplement their income, and this gives them a pathway into that world. Reflecting back on the past 4 years, we have definitely learned some lessons along the way. It's very important to work closely with our stakeholders. Stakeholders would include our education assistants, district administration, human resources, and the Union for Education Assistants, which is CUPE. Since our training curriculum, we feel it has really been optimized over the past 4 years in terms of incorporating the feedback that we've been receiving. But we often do find that if there's a poor EA student fit, sometimes the thought is, well, we have to get more training and training and training. But sometimes it's not that, it's a poor fit, and we have to actually address the poor fit and maybe look at it from another angle. Some EAs who have excelled in our program and things are going now well in their classrooms, they feel stuck in terms of the students' behavior is now manageable, and yet the educational programming that has been set up for that student, now they have the increased ability, they have their increased focus, that educational programming is not meeting their needs. And then we also started to think about team training. So we've just been focusing on education assistants, but what about behaviorally trained teams who are on-site in schools rather than a district person going into a school and sort of consulting that way? What about capacity within the school, more than just the paraprofessional, outside the paraprofessional, and looking at teachers in the school as well? Can we do that, increasing overall school capacity? So the model that we started to think about is one that kind of looks like this. This would be for our elementary education assistant, integration support teacher who is the special educator in the school, and then the classroom teacher, all having training together. That's sort of like everyone having the same information, the same, going through the same experience together, and then working together on their focused students. So that's sort of what we had in our mind, and we've somewhat gotten there in terms of year 5, which is our current school year. I can't say too much, we are just in October, but we have started another year of behavior technician training, and this year it looks quite different. The composition is different than in years past. So we have 11 elementary schools, and 4 are in teams. So we have teachers there who are supporting their education assistants in the training, learning alongside, doing homework together, and that sort of thing. We also have a high school join. We may not have mentioned, we have been focusing just on elementary, and now we're actually going to see how can we start addressing some of the needs in high school. Yes, they're different, but in some ways they are the same. So our total participants are there. You can see it's quite varied. We even have a district administrator who's coming to class every week. Some recommendations for implementation in other districts. We would recommend to focus on small groups. It's tempting to scale up, but it's better if it is small groups. Behavioral skills training, we've spent quite a bit of time talking about the importance of that on-site consultation. It shouldn't be that the learning in the classroom is disconnected from what's happening in that actual classroom with the student. So we want to make sure that there's a bridge. Training teams versus individuals, where we are kind of doing a blended model now, and we'll sort of see how things go and what we will do next year. But so far we are liking training teams. Thoughtful selection of focused students, so that learning from year 2, where there wasn't an actual focused student for some of the education assistants, they were able to implement what we were teaching. We would recommend having an RBT curriculum or behavior technician curriculum that is focused on schools. And the examples are about schools, the role plays in schools. Many of the pre-packaged or online modules or curriculum that you can purchase for RBT is set in a home setting or clinic setting as one-to-one instruction, discrete trial teaching a lot of the time. So it's for early intervention many times, but if you're going to do it in schools, I would ideally create it in-house for your district. And then this, we haven't got there yet, but we would recommend an increase in pay for those education assistants who are taking the time to get extra training. If you have increased level of skill and competency, some of these children and students are quite challenging, and they're putting themselves out there and really learning, and we would like to see them fairly compensated for this extra work. Lastly, we feel, Tina and I, that just through this experience, we've sort of come to recognize that there's not many BCBAs that are in schools, but we do feel that we have achieved a new role and responsibility. Most behavior consultants or BCBAs are external to a school district and are able to come in, but really have a limited focus in terms of making changes for individual students on their caseload. As BCBAs who are insiders, who are employees, who are colleagues with the people we would like to see improvements in, we have a better ability to do that, and we can actually serve and contribute towards systems level changes. And so we encourage school districts to hire behavior analysts. Okay, thank you very much.